Boy Scouts of America have filed for bankruptcy in response to hundreds of sexual abuse allegations that go back decades. Kent Erdahl explains what that means for the 110-year-old organization and the potential victims.
The Boy Scouts of America doesn't plan to go away. In fact, its own announcement says it's filing for bankruptcy to compensate victims while ensuring scouting continues. But a lawyer for some of those victims claims the filing reveals something else.
It shows that the Boy Scouts of America is going the way of the Catholic Church.
Patrick Noacre has represented more than 40 victims of Boy Scout sex abuse, including several Minnesotans who have already settled.
Most of these cases aren't about money. They want and deserve to know the truth about what happened, and bankruptcy court's going to make that more difficult.
Noacre says moving cases from state court to bankruptcy court makes it harder to access so-called perversion files that documented abuse.
They are choosing to conceal information they have about pedophiles that are in their organization, and they're doing so on the backs of victims.
In an open letter about the decision, the national chair of the Boy Scouts wrote, in part, "I am devastated that there were times in the past when we failed the very children we were supposed to protect. The fact is that predators harmed innocent children in scouting programs, and for this, I am deeply sorry." Still, the organization insists it never knowingly allowed a sexual predator to work with scouts and has put new rules in place that make scouting safer now than ever before.
If they cannot clean up their ranks, and if they cannot root out all of the sexual abusers in their ranks, they need to be out of business.
Yeah, that was Kent Erdahl reporting. The bankruptcy filing means current lawsuits in state court are suspended, but new cases can still be filed in bankruptcy court. The Boy Scout says it set up a victims' compensation trust in order to help settle them.